All right, welcome back to another episode of the Royals Farm Report podcast. My name is Alex Duvall. I am joined, as always, by Joel Penfield. Joel, things have happened.
Hey, things did happen, and it gives me some more stuff to talk about later this week. Thank you, Dayton Moore, for a couple of quotes and a press conference.
Yeah, things. Since the last time we talked, lots of things happened. I was listening to 610 on my way to work this morning, and I won't name names, but there's this guy on there, and he's like, "God, they're not gonna fire. Listen, they're not gonna fire any coaches yet. I just don't think that's what they're gonna do." Literally 6 hours later, a coach got fired. So that was like one of my things today. I was like, it's one of those nobody knows nothing kind of moments. So, Josh, things have happened. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. I missed you guys. Missed your faces. I got to hop on with Joel on his one royal way, but I haven't seen your face in over a week, Alex. So I'm pumped to be here. And things got a little shook up today, so plenty to talk about.
The Royals fired their hitting coach at what, like 12:30, 1 o'clock?
Something around there, yeah.
7 hours later, they are being one hit by the corpse of Johnny Cueto through 5 innings.
I talked about that with a buddy at work today. I said, because we both saw Johnny Cueto was starting today. I'm like, all right, first big league start. We got a new hitting coach. That means Johnny Cueto's going to go 7 shut today for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, well, he's 5/7 of the way there. Whit Merrifield has their only hit. There's been one walk. Bobby Witt Jr. worked a walk. That's now 3 walks in 2 games for Bobby Witt Jr., who had 3 walks in the first 20, 30 games he played. So that is progress. That is good. But yeah, they fire their hitting coach, and then this happens. I, for one, am surprised. And now, by the way, I promised to not mention 2 people ever again on the podcast. We won't mention them.
I'm going to hold you to it. I was going to interrupt you if you try. I'm going to hit you with the imaginary mute button if you try to do it.
But the Royals hitters have been better, I think, than the pitchers. Marginally. I don't think there's that big of a gap.
Right.
And it's the hitting coach that goes first. Now, I think there is a piece to this where they had internal options ready to go for the hitters. So I think Terry Bradshaw, it's a byproduct of there are guys better than you already in the system. Where with the pitchers, I don't know who they would go get per se. Paul Gibson's more of a front office type. They do have some rovers, some guys that bounce around minor league affiliates working with pitchers on special assignments. So I don't know who it's going to be, but Alex Zumwalt, I sent a text out. Well, I sent 7 texts out. I got 2 back. And my favorite quote that I got back, I was like, okay, Zumwalt's up. How are we feeling? And the only words this guy said, party time. I was like, yeah, that's a quote and a half. Let's go. It's party time. These guys love Alex Zumwalt. They love the work that Zumwalt, Durini, Saylor, and Tosar have done. It's time. It was time for a change. I wrote an article. The Royals have got to quit swinging so damn much. And I'm going to take a look at their minor league swing rates. We've teased it on Twitter already from down on the farm, doing a lot of the groundwork for us. They needed a new approach. They needed to do something different. It just wasn't working. And now the hitting coach is fired. They're bringing up a guy who was instrumental in the philosophical changes they made to redo the hitting in the minor leagues. Josh, I'll start with you. Are you surprised that Terry Bradshaw got canned today? And more generally, do you think, not just are you surprised, but do you blame Terry Bradshaw for some of the struggles the offense was having?
Obviously, if the offense is as bad as it was, somebody's got to be accountable for it. Terry Bradshaw is obviously in this situation the sacrificial lamb, I think, in this particular situation, but he's also not blameless whatsoever. He was hired in 2018. Since then, the Royals have been 26th in WRC plus with 87, 28th in OPS at 699, 27th in on-base percentage at 306, 28th in runs scored, 26th in barrel percentage, 24th in hard hit rate. You can't do that and keep your job. Not ever. Not ever. Only a weatherman can be that bad at their job and still keep their job. Shout out to my dad for always making that joke, but that's just where we are. Terry Bradshaw going, I get it. I don't largely expect that big of a change in the vets. I feel like the vets are set in their way. I think that they came in, especially like the Benintendis, the Carlos Santanas, they had their process, and I don't know if this switch up is going to make any difference. And honestly, like Benintendi's doing fine. That's fine. Leave him alone. Carlos Santana, he is what it is. He still walks, got a good eye. That's about it. I am happy that the youth movement currently coming through the city is happy. That's perfectly fine and dandy with me, because that, I mean, what bad could come of that? The other part of that is now they just need to see the field, and that's the other part of this equation, where how much of an expectation are we going to put on these guys' shoulders? Yes, they're coming from internal. Yes, they have had impacts on guys in the minor league system, but the vets are the vets. And how they are the ones going to get ABs until the trade deadline, in my opinion. So I don't know how much this is going to have an effect on the overall scheme of the offense, but at least the young guys are happy that it's happening. They're comfortable with them. We think the Prado, the Melendezes, the Witts, the Isbels, all these guys that have been working with this trio regularly are, in theory, the ones that are the most happy about this. So get them on the field and let's see what they can do with it.
Agreed on all fronts. I think this is about the youth movement. And it reminds me a little, I mean, not really, but it reminds me a little of like when the Royals, who did they fire to bring in George Brett? Who's the hitting coach?
Was it Seitzer?
Or is that when they fired? No, that's not when they didn't fire Seitzer in the middle of the year, did they?
No.
I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah, I can't either.
But like you bring in someone to appease the young voices. It was pretty clear, I think, that Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas weren't seeing eye to eye with whoever was in there. Pretty well didn't see eye to eye with George Brett as the hitting coach either. But at that point, it's like getting a new voice in the room. And Joel, I think this is the same way we've been talking about the other guy, is you may not be the problem. But if you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem. You are a part of the problem, right? You are
right.
It's a solution. It's a results business. And if you aren't a part of the solution, you are inherently a part of the problem. So really quick, I mean, Joel, give me your thoughts on what's next for the Royals.
I don't know what's next. Generally right now, I'm just happy that they made a change. I'm glad to see them actually in the front office go, okay, we need to reset. We need to do something different. So whatever we are doing is inherently not working. And whether that means you go on the pitching side first or the hitting side first, I think inevitably there's going to be midseason changes in both fronts. Just happen to be the hitting side first, like you mentioned at the beginning, because Mike Tosar and Alex Zumwalt are already there in the Royals organization with tangible success with these young hitters. So you bring those guys up, and maybe they connect with some of the veterans, and they find one thing, and bam, Whit Merrifield's back to what he was prior to this year. And God forbid they fix Ryan. The other individual player that is holding up Vinny Pasquantino for him coming up to the big leagues. But Kyle Isbell and MJ Melendez, Bobby Wood Jr., Nick Prado, these guys are all going to be in the lineup at points this year, and they have a relationship with those guys that help them get to where they are right now. And now it's going to help them find success at the major league level.
So we're going to throw to KCSC really quick, our sponsor for 2022. We'll be right back.
From the beginning, we knew right away that we wanted to do strength conditioning and a throwing program for the baseball and softball community. It wasn't something we were trying to back into or all of a sudden learn. We knew we were really good at coaching these skills from the get-go. And the fact that we're in the same business and the employees are all on the same page, we can write a program based off of what a kid needs, not just getting him stronger or faster from a general sense. It's what does this kid need? On the pitching end, we can say, hey, this kid needs such and such. He needs to do this or that better. A lot of times it turns out it's not something that needs to be fixed in the baseball cage or on the throwing mound. It actually needs to be fixed in the weight room.
Big thanks to KCSC, Kansas City Strength and Conditioning, for picking up the pod this year. Need a spark of some kind. The Royals are trying to do that. Are they still getting it's? I'm following the game because I am like wildly intrigued. Hey, they got a runner on second.
Isbell's on second of all guys.
Weird. Oh my gosh, Kyle Isbell doubled. Oh my gosh, it's
Okay.
almost like he might be able to provide a spark on offense. All right,
So
enough of
so
the-
are we really
Are we doing this
thinking
right
that I know we talked about this, like we're not expecting a huge difference in here, but we're kind of already lofting those expectations, even if it is a little tongue in cheek. So let's pump the brakes on a serious note, pump the brakes on this change a little bit.
is
A little bit.
scoring one run lofty expectations for this club? Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, the other part of this was like they just came from Denver. It is obviously thin air, Denver, whatever you want to call it, but they put up numbers on the board. So very interesting timing for this to have come. It would be
Yes.
not out of nowhere because obviously the numbers are the numbers for Terry Bradshaw, but it'd be tough to be like put up 30 runs in a 3-game series, and then when you get home, they're like, "All right, bud, you got to go, and thanks for your time here."
It is weird timing. I thought about that today. Like they couldn't have waited until they sucked tonight and then fired him or something. Like I don't know. But it also speaks to like some of the issues we've heard about their pitching coordinators and having communication with the minor leaguers to the big leaguers, where MJ Melendez can't have a whole plan with Zoom, Walton, Saylor in the minors, come to the big leagues and Terry Bradshaw go, well, actually. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I think there's a pretty clear disconnect from the minor leagues and the major leagues right now. And putting Zumwalt, in that big league role where he and Saylor have worked together to change the minor leagues, that communication should no longer be an issue. So if it continues to be an issue, in my opinion, this is not the hitting coach anymore. I think, and really quick, in the next minute and a half, I want to be done talking about the big leagues. Joel, really quick, in your opinion, tell me if I'm off base. Now that Bradshaw's gone, if the hitting struggles continue, for me, the next person to fall on the sword has to be Matheny. Because
100%. 100%.
it's either Matheny or the players, and you can't just get rid of all the players.
So,
you guys tell me.
I said it very tongue in cheek when the news came across, but I said, okay, we're a third of the way there. Because I do think we're at a point where wholesale changes need to be made. Like very, and I'm not saying even in quick fashion, but by 2023, like I don't think you can run it back with this I don't think you could run it back with this coaching staff. I understand that we're 6 weeks in and that's not a lot of sample size, but it was ugly. It got so bad so fast that you have to make changes, and this is just one step in that. It's not the solution, but it's the beginning of the solution.
Well, and by the way, if you fire a hitting coach 6 weeks in, this tells me you were leaning toward Zumwalt anyway and decided to give Bradshaw 6 weeks to figure it out. He didn't, and now you've gone with the guy that you were already leaning that way anyway, right?
It's like a college football coach. It's like a college football team, like a college football program firing their head coach in week 3. Like if you're firing him in week 3, he shouldn't have been there in week 1.
Correct. 1,000%. Unless you have an internal option that's ready to go and can slide in at any time. But again, this goes back. And then again, 30 seconds, we're done talking about the big leagues.
I got one more point after this too.
You cannot sell me that you're actually trying to win if this is your mentality. You are hinting that, hey, we know this is our last year of development and where winning is not the ultimate priority. So we're done talking about the big leagues.
I have one question.
Yeah, I want to transition out of this. I'm just saying you cannot convince me that winning is the ultimate priority if you fire your hitting coach 6 weeks in. Josh, go ahead.
What's the story about why now with Mike Tosar? Why are they just now bringing him in uniform in the major league camp?
I kind of wonder if they didn't ask him before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to do it? And he's like, yeah, not really.
Because he's got experience working with our major leaguers. So it's
like he's the one that
they had to go get him to turn Jorge Soler around.
Correct. Yeah. And they did it with Salvi too. He's done it with a couple of different players. I think Matias was there this last offseason, right?
Well, and don't they all train in Miami? So Mike Tosar is like, you want me to leave where and go where? No, no, thanks. And
that's what I'm wondering.
Finally said, how much is it going to take, Mike?
Yes.
Like,
which, if that's the case, then this front office needs a little bit of commending. Because if they're finally being like, Tosar's the guy, let's get him here no matter what. No holds barred. They go fully Jurassic Park. No money is no limit or whatever Attenborough says. He just said, just go get him. He's our guy. He's proven. He's got guys that, evidence of proof. Go get him no matter what. So I think that's a credit. If that's how it goes.
No, not tomorrow, Wednesday. On Wednesday. So I guess tomorrow when y'all are listening to this, Frank Mazzucato will make his professional debut. Frank Mazzucato, the videos at the Royals. By the way, whoever's running that Royals PD account over on Twitter, way to catch up to the 21st century. Like, well done. Actually posting videos and highlights of your prospects. Like, I know it's a concept, but when there are three morons like us running a blog with infinitely more following than the actual team, like, come on, like, we can do better. And so they've been posting highlights and including some of Mazzucato. Kid looks good. Kid looks really good. He looks as advertised. And by the way, the Mazzucato pick, I was doing a little digging. That is a total Cleveland Guardians pick.
Oh, 100%.
Now that like John Sherman's
yeah.
come over. Hey, dummies, what is the one thing we know we can teach a guy to do better? Throw hard, right? So let's go get kids who can spin it naturally and who pitch well naturally, and we'll teach them to throw hard. Oh, it's a total Cleveland Guardians pick. It kind of dawned on me the other day. I was like, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like, I can see this now. I'm really excited. We don't play Wednesday. The high school that I work for, we don't play Wednesday. So I will be all eyes on Frank Mazzucato. I will have live clips of him as well as a cumulative compilation at the very end of his start. So you guys will be able to see that on Twitter, but I am excited. Jared wrote up what should we expect? I can only imagine that Ben Kudrna and Shane Panzini are a matter of weeks, if not days, behind him. Rylan Kaufman is going up. Eric Sarantola is probably due for a promotion. Herbert Garcia, probably not, but maybe. There's a few other guys they could promote out of that rotation. Not that they have necessarily earned it, but just that are of age. I could see Panzini and Kudrna being right behind, and then you have a really long look at the three prep forms from last year. Joel, I'll start with you again. Do you have, now that we know they're not going to open, because the last time we talked about these guys in terms of expectations, it was assuming they'd be on the opening day roster.
Right.
They weren't. So now that they're coming out, is there anything you're going to be watching for, whether it's a change in something we knew about them when they were drafted, a change in overall organizational philosophy? Is there anything you're going to be watching specifically from Mazzucato on Wednesday?
It'll be velo first, I think. I mean, you brought him in and he was maybe 92, up to 92, 94-ish in his senior year of high school and a little bit in the fall. I'd be curious if he didn't get a couple miles an hour this offseason working with he was Cressy and those guys. I mean, that's a really good pitching lab. So that'll be the first thing I see. I know he can spin the crap out of his curveball. And if he can get his changeup, get a little more fuel for that, then I think we're going to be cooking with peanut oil and we're going. So I think that if he's touching 96, my heart's going to be fluttering just a little bit.
Just your heart?
Yeah. For the sake of this podcast and yes,
Children
yes, just
everywhere.
that. Yes.
Josh, anything specific that you're looking for from Frank Mazzucato?
Honestly, not really. I've only seen, the only action I've seen from him is just the highlights and stuff from draft videos, prep videos, scouting videos, what have you. I haven't seen a full pitched game from him, so I'm excited to get my eyes on him as a complete product, or at least as his first professional performance, complete product type of thing. So that's in the velo, like Joel said. The velo is what I'm really kind of curious about. See how much progression he's made from that.
The other thing too, I think, is the how you handle adversity aspect of this. Because I mean, when you're a kid like that, I mean, last year he was throwing 4 no-nos in a row, so he was striking out the world. Has been, I mean, really good for probably his entire life. And this is your first chance at professional baseball against professional hitters that are a few years older than you. You know, it's like the Mike Tyson quote of everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. How do you handle a couple knocks in the first and a hard hit ball running, whizzing right past you? And so I think it's some of the mental aspect of it too for him.
Agreed. And I think one of the things I'm really excited to see from him is, does he use his fastball up in the zone, because that's one thing that we've been sold so far, is that even for a guy that doesn't throw as hard, his fastball has really good ride at the top of the zone, which is A, imperative for the success of his fastball, but B, if you can't execute a fastball at the top of the zone, you can't throw a big curveball.
Mhm.
Because what are you going to do? Throw your curveball at the knees and bank on guys swinging at a curveball in the dirt every time?
Yep.
No, you have to be able to change eye levels and bring a curveball in, tunnel it well, and then drop it back into the zone. So can Frank Mazzucato, even if he is 89, 92, like velo aside, can he run the fastball into the top of the zone successfully? Because if he cannot, we're in trouble. And you have to add velo at that point, right? If you can pitch at 92 at the top of the zone, more power to you. But if you can't, then you have to go get velo. And if he's not adding velo, then he's got to have the carry, right? And like something's got to give. So that's what I'll be watching for, is either the velo, like Joel said, or it has to have great carry, great spin, a great axis, and a great approach angle through the top of the zone to allow his curveball to play, and potentially the changeup that we're being sold having improved. Josh, any surprise? Well, I guess maybe not surprise. He's the first one out, but Noah Cameron, who we're getting ready to have on, is another guy who could be promoted to high A to make room for Mazzucato. Outside of just Mazzucato being the first one out, is there anything about the Mazzucato appearance, him making his debut, the change in the way they've handled prep arms? Ben Hernandez is still in Colombia, right? Is there anything we can take away organizationally on Wednesday, or is it kind of a, just kind of wait and see what happens?
I mean, I'm not going to rush to any judgments with anything unless his arm completely falls off on the mound. That would basically be the only part where I'm like, something's weird about their approach to what they've done with Mazzucato. I mean, all jokes aside, it doesn't seem like, this is certainly a different approach, but after one start, how much can you really delve into anything?
Delve.
Dive, whatever.
No, it was a good day for that. It was the Wordle of the day.
It is a good shout out to Wordle. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Well, no, but
yeah,
today, yeah.
Was it today? Okay, so Joel.
No, I'm saying by Tuesday they wouldn't be able to. I'm sorry, right. I was dumb. I'll get out of your way.
No worries. We'll delve right back into it. But it is what it is. I'm curious to see what happens with the approach, because obviously whatever they're doing with the prep arms was not working prior to this, and any new approach is something I'd be interested in, but not a guarantee to work. So it's interesting to kind of follow and see how it all plays out, but I'm not really worried about that right now from the first start on Wednesday.
Joel, any final thoughts on the Mazzucato promotion?
Nope, I'm excited to watch it, and I can't wait to watch Panzini and Kudrna coming probably within the next couple of weeks. It wouldn't shock me if at least one of them's there by next week.
I finally get to start cashing in on Mazzucato points in the fantasy league.
I need Kudrna up soon so I can start cashing in on those.
Johnny Boland's going to come back, and boys, I'm going to be flush with fantasy points.
Yeah, Will Klein came back this week and went negative for me.
Well,
so
just right out of the gate. We'll be fine.
First start in the pros, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Joel got stuck again.
Of course I did, didn't I?
I see him. He's fine.
Yeah,
we good,
Peter.
Really quick before we get Noah in here, Josh, what is your Chipotle order?
Oh, well, it's usually mood based, but if I'm just firing from the hip, it's chicken, white rice, fajita veggies. I like the hot salsa, sour cream, cheese, and got to double wrap that burrito, baby. I figured that out. Oh, just life changing.
They say double wrapping it could actually be worse
for your health.
No, that it could break easier.
I have heard that. I feel like I've had a few burrs after I've had that burrito a couple times. Yes.
Joel, what is your Chipotle order?
I was not expecting that. The Karloftis Bowl. I'm just kidding. I can't tell you the last time I went to Chipotle, man. It has been maybe 4 years, something like that.
What?
Yeah, I haven't done it a long time. But steak burrito, white rice, corn salsa, pico, cheese, lettuce.
It's not a bad order. I am a bowl guy with the tortilla on the side. I go steak.
That's not a bad
and
move either.
chicken, steak and chicken, double white rice, hot salsa, sour cream, corn, cheese, a little bit of lettuce. I load that baby up.
What's the goal behind the burrito or the tortilla on the side?
You get more stuff.
You get more in a bowl, and then you can make a burrito and have leftover in the bowl. There is more food in the bowl than a burrito. That's a fact.
Well, then you get the chips and you got a little nacho too.
Amen. I get chips and queso too.
Oh,
Their queso is like the grossest good queso ever.
It was awful when it first came out. I was so pumped. I was like, this is the one thing Chipotle was supposed to be was missing. First, right out of the gate, gross. But they approved it, and it's been great.
I didn't mind the original queso. I never it never bothered me that much. I know people didn't like it, but it really didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Joel, you won't be around for final thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts for the night?
Nothing tonight, I don't think. Surprisingly,
Tell us about your
hat. Had something.
You have a weenie on your hat.
Oh yes, this is the Frisco Corny Dogs, the alternate logo for the Frisco Rough Riders. I bought it when I went to the Naturals Rough Riders game a couple weeks ago because I saw a hat with a corn dog, a cowboy hat, and it's got a mustard mustache. I mean, I feel like you have to buy that.
That's a must cop. Right? Yeah, gotta have that.
I looked at it and I went, do I need this? My buddy said, oh, you're buying that right now. Like, it was either that or I got their like Copa hat, like their Spanish hat. And it's the Los Quesos de Frisco. And it's a little like cotija cheese. And it's got the little glasses like Teddy Roosevelt. But that was about $5 or $10 more expensive. So like, I'll just get the corn dog hat.
Corn dog's pretty solid.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the interview.
Corn dogs for all these good people.
There we go. Good stuff.
All right. We're kicking Joel out to bring Noah Cameron in. Joel, thank you, sir. We will see you again next week. Hopefully the Royals don't get shut out by the corpse of Johnny Cueto tonight.
It's going to happen.
We will not have a minor league minute tonight. We ran out of time, and frankly, it has been a hell of a week. So our minor league minute, quote unquote, will be an interview with Noah Cameron this week. Our minor league minute, as always, brought to you guys by Drum Farm Center for Children, foster care center out in Lee Summit, Missouri on Lee Summit Road. Their claim to fame, so to speak, is their Compass program, right? The Compass program takes care of kids after they age out of the foster care system to give them help as they move into adulthood. Thanks to Drum Farm for picking up the minor league minute, which is the interview this week. So Noah, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I texted you the other day. I said, thanks for being really good again, because that makes the interview a little more appealing.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't following the Twitter account, A, do. B, Noah's last 26 innings, 35 strikeouts, 6 walks after a bit of a Will Klein debut to professional baseball. It happens. It's over. Doesn't matter anymore. But we are back. Noah pitching really well. How has transition to pro ball been so far? Are you settling in? I mean, it's your first year of full season ball, pitching out in the Southeast League. There's a lot of really good young talent in that league, despite the overall age being a little bit younger than some of the other leagues. But there's a lot of raw talent. How you settle in?
Yeah, doing really well. Doing really well. It's been obviously a great start to my career, and just kind of getting off on the right page. Definitely a lot of talent, definitely a lot of good players, and just beautiful places to play, and not a whole lot of travel, which is nice. Kind of mixing in there, just short bus rides, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's been awesome so far, and no complaints at all, and just ready to keep doing what I love. So.
We'll backtrack to your high school days and we'll work forward here in a second. But really quick, just for the listeners that are maybe less into it, compare low A to the competition you played in college. So Noah went to Central Arkansas, played a lot of mid-major D1 ball, some of that, big time Power 5 ball.
Yeah.
Compare low A to the competition you played in college.
Yeah, I mean, college, obviously, a lot of really good players. I would say the biggest thing that I can kind of gauge on is making mistakes as a pitcher. Definitely just like you can't do it. So in college, like, if you face a really good hitter that may get drafted, may not, whatever, they're going to capitalize on it, pretty good chance. But a lot of the times you're facing hitters that may miss it and may not even swing at it. And, who knows? And here, even in low A, as I go up, like I know it's just going to get even higher and higher. But here, if you miss a ball over the middle of the plate, like you can guarantee it's going to be hit hard. Obviously, after they hit it hard, who knows where it's going? Maybe right at somebody, hopefully, but most like over the fence, like it just, you never know. But I'd say that's probably the biggest thing so far that I've kind of noticed is just mistake pitches are going to be hit hard, and you just have to limit that as much as possible.
So let's backtrack. You are from St. Joseph, Missouri, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to St. Joe Central?
I did.
When did you graduate?
2018.
2018. So you're quite a bit younger than I am. So I would have been out by then. But
Right.
you played St. Joe Central.
I played for St. Joe Central.
Yep. So
Yeah.
and then you end up at Central Arkansas.
Yes.
Why Central Arkansas? What other offers were you weighing, and what led you to Central Arkansas?
So I didn't have a whole lot of like bigger schools. UCA was probably the biggest school that I had. I had quite a bit of like JUCOs and smaller D2s, Missouri Western, hometown college. I committed relatively early, like middle of my junior year. So maybe I could have gotten some bigger offers, but man, I fell in love with it super early and just visited on campus, went to like a little camp after they had offered me. Just really good coaches, good people, God lovers. Like I'm big in faith, love Jesus, and they all the coaches from head coach to our volunteer assistant. They allowed us to like have chapel on like Sunday mornings, and so they like kind of helped us along with that. Campus was beautiful, and loved the purple stripes and all of that. But yeah, and then early on just got to know my class, my coming in class. So we just kind of built relationships and fell in love with it early, and definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made. So nothing but good things to say about that place.
I didn't have that many school visits when I was graduating high school, but I knew I didn't fall in love with any of the campuses. So it's awesome to hear, you kind of had that feeling as you were kind of gracing the campus with your presence and potentially their baseball program. So with the 2 years you spent there, really a year and a half with the COVID shortened season, you got selected by the Royals in the 7th round, 199th overall as a sophomore. So what made you decide to go with the Royals offer coming off of Tommy John surgery after that, right?
Yep.
So what made you sign with the Royals in that position instead of going back to UCA?
Home team, man.
Yep.
Born and raised. No, for sure. Obviously, all the numbers and all that stuff is great. But obviously this was my dream for sure, is to play professional baseball. Ever since I was 2 years old and picking up baseballs in the house and throwing them at windows and all that fun stuff. So always what I've wanted to do. Obviously just happened to be the home team, the team that I've grown up watching, the team that I've grown up just loving. And Matt Price was the area scout, and just how, Lonnie Goldberg, Paul Gibson, how they just kind of embraced me and like supported me. And they were like, hey, we're confident that like after TJ, like you're ready to go. And like, we believe just your work ethic and that you're just going to come back and you're going to be awesome. And we want to take you. We want a hometown guy. We want just somebody that loves this team. And I loved the team before I was even a part of the team. So
right, yeah,
I'm definitely just kind of a good fit. But yeah, that's a big reason.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Be honest, if it was anybody else, would you have considered going back to school and trying to up your draft stock a little bit?
I think that definitely comes into play a little bit, just because I think that, I could have potentially got drafted a lot higher, more money or whatever, maybe potentially the next year. But also it's one of those things, it's like after a surgery like that, it's like, yeah, we're pretty confident, that I'll come back and I'll be better and I'll be everything. But then I think the bad thoughts creep in on what if I don't, what if I come back throwing 85? Like, I better just take this chance to, to start my dream before it's taken away from me. So, definitely, I think if maybe if I would have fell, past the 10th round or past the 15th round or whatever, I think it was definitely a possibility, but we were hoping for this last year, and that was kind of our plan, and we just would have adapted to whatever happened.
One thing I don't think people give enough credit to as a fellow Tommy John survivor myself is it's not a 100% success rate. It's not guaranteed that you have the surgery and just come back. It's not like an ACL for football. It's quite frankly not really. The only thing I think you could consider to be worse would be like shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And even then it's not a guarantee. And I think people just assume that. So talk to us about the rehab, because when I went through it, and I'll speak to it and lay groundwork for you, you are in rehab every single day, and the mental toll that can take is gruesome. So talk to us about your rehab, because I'm always really curious to hear how it goes for other guys who have had it. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your rehab and how mentally straining it was, and follow that up with how big of a relief is it to be back and healthy and throwing hard and being good again?
Yeah. Just like you said, it's horrible, and it's something that I don't wish upon anybody. Something that I don't wish upon any pitchers, whether they're on my rival team or people that I don't know. It's just not a fun thing to go through. I think the worst part for me was like being like game days, like being on the field, like first pitch, and then I'm just like, what do I do? Like, well, how do I help? What do I do now? And by then it was after my freshman year, after my sophomore year, which is COVID. COVID happened, and like I was a team leader, like I was one of like our captains, and just kind of like a role model for like the younger guys coming in. And so it was just like tough, just emotionally, like being like, okay, like I can't help on the field. So it was just like, it was all about finding a way that I can help. And that was kind of being like a player coach almost. And I had really good relationships with the coaches, and they trusted me, and they trusted that whatever I'm telling this freshman coming in, like it's probably similar to what they would be telling them. And so like that. So that was definitely a big part of it. Therapy for me was, I went like 3 or 4 times a week. So not as many days a week. It was like, a good hour to 2 hours those days. I think the tough part, because like I actually like enjoyed therapy. I was a therapist, and it was just fun because I could do physical activity, and I could like get after it, and I could sweat, and I could just work hard again. And I lifted and stuff with the team when I could, and stuff like that. But I think the tough part for me was like days I didn't have therapy, because then I just didn't have anything to do. And so a lot of that was filled with like dry work, getting on the mound, going to practice every day, figuring out something to do with my lower half, with my body, with my legs. I would do all sorts of pipe drills and on the mound, and just figuring out ways that I could just get stronger in my legs. And so that when I come back, then my lower half is better than it has been. Now we just have to get the arm in shape, and then I'm ready to go. So that was my therapy experience.
How was your velo then compared to now?
Before Tommy John?
Mm-hmm.
Before Tommy John, so I played in the Northwoods League after COVID hit. I was up to 94, so I was like 91, 94. And right now I actually just hit 94 for the first time Sunday since TJ. So that was really just encouraging that I'm back up. Like, maybe I'm not hitting it as much yet, but I'm back up to like that number, which is really encouraging for me. And just hard work pays off, man. And it really does. And I've been like 90, 92, 90, 93. And just still just building up and continue to get better and get stronger, and use my changeup, use my curveball, and let the fastball kind of do what it wants to do. So
that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's rad. You talk about like encouragement, you talk about being a role model and everything. And I've seen an interview with you when you were kind of waiting to hit the, spring camp this last off season, where you're given, pitching drill lessons, as well as like doing meetings with kids and stuff. And you said it was just really important to, have an effect on people and be a positive light to those people. And is obviously, kind of, I can just hear it coming from you just from the, 20 minutes we've been talking here. But why is that such a big deal to you? Why do you want to be such a positive effect on people?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I just think that's what it's all about. In the long run, like, obviously I'm living my dream. I'm playing ball, getting paid for it. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's still crazy to me, just being a first guy. Like, who would pay somebody to play baseball, which is crazy. But like, I was just those kids, and that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I was those kids when I was 5 years old to 10 years old. And I was looking up to Alex Gordon, looking up to Billy Butler and Mike Sweeney and all those guys. And Zach Greinke, who's now obviously on the team again. And yeah, I mean, that's just what it's all about. Cause I think if they would have came and like talked to my elementary school when I was kind of barely even knew who they were, like that would have just been like insane. Like that would have just been so crazy. And it's so easy, it's so easy to be like, hey, can you come talk to an elementary school in St. Joe? And I'm like, duh, like I'll be there. Like, don't pay me. Don't do like, I will be there. And I'm not doing anything else. I'll go work out in the morning and then I'll be there. So
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what it's all about. And I think a lot of people have that view just messed up, and they're just like, it's all about themselves and their own stuff. And I'm like, let's affect the next generation and then let's go play ball and get paid and have fun. So yeah.
Love it. That's right.
You say all that, and yet you sent a tweet out calling Tom Brady the GOAT. I mean, Tom Brady, known cheater, known slime ball, probably hates kids, puppies, and barbecue.
Yeah.
Are you ready to rescind that? Like, are we ready to acknowledge that Tom Brady is a cheating slime ball?
No.
What did Patrick Mahomes do to you?
I love Patty Mahomes. Hey, he's a great dude. He's a great dude, but Tom Brady's my boy. My mom, I don't know why. I don't know why she did this, but she raised my brother and I big Tom Brady fans. She fell in love with them in 2001, and I was 2 years old, and she raised us that way. I don't know why. Don't know why, but I don't regret it. Don't regret it for a second. I love it.
He lied to you. He lied to me. He lied to all of us about retiring.
That's
He's
true.
just a liar.
He's
a big liar.
I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And he came back, and I'm like, my life, I'm saved. Let's go.
So
ready.
And then every talented person in the NFC just decided to leave the division for the conference for no reason. Run over the AFC.
I love it.
Did you see the contract he's going to get to broadcast games when he retires?
That's insane. Like 357? Something like that. That's
crazy. Crazy stuff.
That's why when they were talking about Sean McVay, could Sean McVay leave the coaching staff and go broadcast games? Like, he's going to make way more money broadcasting games, which is crazy to think about in the long haul.
Dude, it's Tony Romo, man. He led George because he's unbelievable at it. So.
He is unbelievable. I can't believe there are people who don't like Tony Romo. It blows my mind.
Yeah, he cracks me up. He's funny.
And Brady's going to be the same way. I mean, he's too likable on social media. I hate the fact that he's good at it, but he's going to just go crush that commentary too. Do
you think he'll find a way to cheat as a broadcaster?
No. It's not a cheat.
Like, Tony Romo's out here dissecting plays, like actually, like Tom Brady will steal the scripted 15 plays. Be like, I bet they run XYZ here, knowing full good and well that's what they're running. That would be Tom Brady as a.
I don't blame him. He's a good dude, man. Love that guy.
Hey, tell us about the pitch clock, because it sounds like the big leagues want to implement a pitch clock, and frankly, the hitters need some kind of like maybe more policing than I would say about 75% of pitchers. There are the Pedro Baez's of the world where it's like, Pedro, get on the mound, dog. Like, we got to go. Like, there are people that want to go home. The umpire got to pee. Like, everybody's got places to be, and you are taking 30 seconds between pitches. I get it.
Yeah.
But then for every Pedro Baez is Nomar.
Yeah.
Check those batting gloves again.
Garcia Parra. It's like, get in the box. We have got to go. So tell us about the pitch clock. And do you think it's actually had an effect on speeding up the pace of play?
Yeah. That it has absolutely sped up the game. I will say that we've had we may have had 2 games this year, like that's like 3 hours plus. So that's really nice. Just, getting in, getting out, getting home. But at the same time, for me, I've always worked fast, so it doesn't affect me as much as some people. I've always been like get the ball, get on the mound, and then wait for the hitter because, if I'm waiting for the hitter, then they're going to be sped up. So that can help me in that area. It definitely, the pitchers that like to take their time, they hate it. I don't know. I think the pitch clock. I think the biggest league that could use it is the major leagues. Obviously, everybody has it now, but I feel like at the major league level, they take the longest for sure. I don't think at the low A level, people would take a minute to get in the box because everybody's like, let's go. Or you're not a big leaguer yet. So I don't know. I think it's tough because there's advantages and disadvantages of it for sure. I think the biggest thing I would say is the people up in the press box and the umpires need to know how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Because it's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And just like some umpires like do the rules, do it really well. Some people are just very ignorant and don't really know what they're doing. So I had, I guess my start on Tuesday, I was on the mound for maybe 30 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. And the batter got in the box at 1 second. So I didn't so I didn't even have my sign, anything. And right when it hit 0, the umpire called time and gave me a ball. And I'm like, no, I actually got pretty heated. And I'm a pretty keep it cool, no emotions, just pitch and stuff. But I said something. I'm like, are you kidding me? And our manager came out and the call wasn't reversed. It was 1-0. And I'm like, this is insane. So I think if it's used correctly, and umpires and the people upstairs that are controlling the clock, if it's the right way, then it definitely helps. But yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting to see, everybody's process and how they kind of go about doing their thing. Part of that is in my mind, and I'm very concerned about this for no apparent reason, but walkout songs, warm-up songs, walkout songs, what have you. I'm very interested in first. So what is your current walkout song? Is it your dream walkout song? And if not, then what would be your dream walkout song?
So my walkout song, whatever, is actually by one of my good buddies back home. So he's
nice.
He's gonna make it big in a year. Jack Frazier is his name. It's called No Matter What, and it's a Christian song, but it's a Christian pump up song.
Okay.
And I love it. He's a beast. So nothing super popular.
Jack Frazier.
Jack Frazier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got star power behind that
absolutely.
name.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And he sings at my church back home.
Nice.
He's 2 years older, 3 years older than me. But really good dude, and just words are awesome and super sick beats, and gets me pumped up for sure. But
okay.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I think is an underrated piece of the pitch clock thing is hitters. I swear to God, if you watch them, they will walk in circles around home plate waiting for the beat of their walkout song.
Yeah.
No way for remove them. Only pitchers get walkout songs from now on. People keep talking about pitch clock. It's not a pitch clock. It is a pace of play clock because the hitters need it just as bad as the pitchers. And I will fight for that. I will fight for that until nobody else listens.
Yeah. Well, and it's it takes them 10 seconds to walk to the plate. Why do they need music playing?
Yeah.
So, right. We have a minute and a half or whatever to warm up. So have some music or whatever, but
just turn the organ up.
Yeah.
Get an organist back there. No, Jack Frazier. Okay. Everybody listening,
I'm going to look into that.
I will look into that as well.
He's awesome.
I got a question for you about the biggest change you made really quick. We're backtracking now, and this is the last baseball question I'll ask, and we'll get you out of here in a minute. In terms of changes you made once joining the Royals, anything significant that you feel like, man, this is something they turned me on to and I implemented it, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is great. this is something I'd never done or never heard of, and this is helping me tremendously in my performance?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just like, I mean, I guess college, like our coaches at college kind of taught this, but just like pitching to your strengths, and not worrying so much about the hitter's strengths, but it's like if the hitter hits changeups really well, that's my go-to, that's my strength. So like I'm not going to throw a changeup. So definitely just like knowing yourself, knowing your DNA is what we call that at college, just knowing your makeup, knowing what your strength is, and maybe if they love hitting changeups, like let's go fastball in, so then you can throw your best pitch, throw your changeup. So, and they teach that super well, and how kind of just helped us by like journaling and like notebooking after games, after bullpens, just working on stuff. I think definitely just like establishing curveball a little bit better. Wasn't my best pitch in college. Didn't throw it a whole lot, and just now I've been throwing it a lot more. It's just getting better. And definitely I know that I need to like make that better, and make that a really solid third pitch for me. And they've helped with that, with grips and just with like intensity levels, speeding up the arm, stuff like that. So yeah, I would say just like, yeah, really just like know yourself and don't change who you are because of who the hitter is. So if our Pujols steps up to bat, like I'm going to pitch the exact same as I am if a low A hitter is hitting. So yeah, that's a big one.
That's awesome.
What if you're stepping in the box against Albert Pujols? You taking him yard?
Oh, absolutely. I'm pulling out my high school bat and I'm swinging away.
Do they let you guys take pitcher BP ever?
No. I wish. We did at college a couple times. If we like threw a shutout, then we have pitchers BP. I think we did that like maybe once or twice. So not a whole lot of times, but no, but it was, and that may have been like with those shutout, and we'd ask, and then we'd be like, no, we have practice. Let's focus up. But no.
Do you remember where you were when the Royals made that Game 4 comeback in the 2015 ALDS? I was taking pitcher beeps.
Were you really?
Yes, literally taking BP. And they made my round because that was the same inning as the comeback. And after my 10 pitches, they just kept throwing them because they didn't want to like jinx. Like, you know how pitchers are.
Yeah.
But literally took like 30 swings because that's what was going on during pitcher beeps. Where were you during that?
I believe I may have been at home with my family watching it. Like I was on the couch watching it. I was either at home watching it, that may have been 2014, or I was at my buddy's house with a bunch of us friends and parents and stuff watching it. I can't remember if it was 2014, which was 2015. But
did you go to any of those games at the K?
Oh yeah. I haven't been. I went a lot more growing up than I have in the last few years, just because obviously I'm away at college and stuff, and I'm home for 2 months, and then I go back to college, and so I haven't been a whole lot, maybe once or twice in the last couple of years, but yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Last question for you. This is the one Joel asks, and Joel is our other partner, by the way. So okay. Joel, we're only allowed to have 3 people on the screen, so we had to kick Joel out for the interview.
Sorry,
but
I fought him.
The last question Joel asks everybody: if you could go back in baseball history and watch one moment live and in person, what are you picking?
Babe Ruth, man. Babe Ruth
called shot.
Man, that'd be sick. That'd be
cool. Can you take an iPhone and get a better video than the one we have and just confirm that's what's going on?
That'd be awesome. I just can't even like imagine somebody being that confident. Because if he doesn't do it, he looks stupid. And it's like people will just like make fun of him, but he did it. And now it's like, what the heck?
And does he have a reputation at that point? Like, at what point in his career is he known for like hitting dingers whenever he wants?
No, he was still the Bambino at that time.
Yeah, I mean, if
you
do
shot, that is legendary.
100%.
No, yeah, it's wild.
What is more legendary, Salvador Perez charging up the first baseline like this, or Babe Ruth calling his shot? Be honest, because it's definitely Salvador Perez.
Yeah, I'll go Salvi.
Was last question, I swear.
No, you're good.
Pitchers that Babe Ruth faced in the big leagues, do you think they threw harder or softer than Albert Pujols the other day?
Oh, harder.
You think they threw You think pitchers back then could break 70 on command?
Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna say that now, and I was like, no, they didn't.
No.
They probably threw like in the 80s, maybe. I would
The
say
80s.
that's what I would guess.
Like the average high school pitcher today.
Yeah, probably like 80, 85, 80, 83. Yeah.
I am on the team Babe Ruth. I don't know why people come after Babe Ruth. Like, dude's been dead for how many years, and people come after him like he couldn't hit pitching today. It's like, no shit.
It's time.
Yeah.
He's dead. He's very
He's had
dead.
his shine. His time's over.
Whatever. Anyway. Noah, thanks for joining us, man. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate your time.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It was a blast, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Sometime.
Absolutely, man. Good luck to you the rest of the way. And like I said, hopefully we'll get to you again this offseason. So
Yeah.
Good luck,
Sounds
man.
Good. Sounds good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, no.
big thanks to Noah Cameron for joining us. Thanks again to Joel for joining us earlier. Big thanks to KCSE for picking up the show, Drum Farm for the minor league minute, KCSN for picking us up. Josh, the Royals have tied the game. It is 3-3, top of the ninth. Scott Barlow is in. This is 100% because they fired Terry Bradshaw, right?
I mean, I was the first one to say there's not going to be any difference, and I'm the first one to eat my hat. So I love this Royals Farm Report hat, but it's got to be eaten tonight.
Don't eat it. That's the only one you get.
I got to eat it.
Doing
I
more.
got to eat
No,
it, dude.
We're not making more. No, don't do that. Actually, I
on.
do kind of want to get everybody a black one where it's white on the side and black on the front. Same hat.
I'm into that.
Black. Okay.
Maybe so I can eat this one.
Well, no, but
I got some good like garlic parmesan sauce that I can throw on it and down it really well though.
I'll tell you what, if Bobby Witt Jr. hits a walk-off home run, you are allowed to eat the hat.
I'm gonna eat the hat. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat the hell right out of it.
Do you have any final thoughts for the night?
I already talked about Jack Harlow on Joel's podcast. So the other thing I was going to bring up was I rewatched Happy Gilmore for the first time in like maybe 5 years, and it holds up very well, very good as far as the holding up factor. But it brought me to the fact that Bob Barker, it just reminded me of how good a cameo that was. It was spectacular, and I started to wonder like what was the best cameo in a movie of all time, because Bob Barker's up there. Is there anything else coming to mind as far as a cameo in a movie?
I don't know if it's a cameo, but have you seen Kicking and Screaming?
Oh yeah,
Mike
Ditka?
Ditka is amazing in that movie.
That's a good
He
one.
did such a good job.
Yep. I think that's solid. All right,
I don't know
Tom
if
Cruise
it's
and
not a
Tropic
cameo.
Thunder. Tom Cruise and Tropic Thunder was also very, very good.
Have you seen Tom Cruise's cameo in Family Guy, where he's real tiny with a big head?
No, I did not.
He's like Stewie.
It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks since we got a Family Guy reference in here, so I'm glad we worked it in seamlessly,
Brought it in full circle.
full circle.
All right, my
What
final
do
thought.
Do you have a final thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
so
didn't mean to step on
that's
it.
okay. My final thought of the night, I am smoking a pork butt or two. I haven't decided. I have 13 people. You tell me. I have 13 people I got to feed on Wednesday. Do I smoke 8 pounds of pork butt or 16? There's no in between.
I mean, this is an easy answer. Easiest question you've given me all night. It's 16 because pork butt is the superior smoked product of all the smoked products. If you know my history, get a little bit of that pork butt fat, get a little taste of it, but that's beside the point. You always go on the high side, so leftovers are always on the docket. So I'm going full 16.
Here is my final thought on the night. If you smoke a pork butt, take it from me. If you want to make like championship, well, I was going to say something really inappropriate. I didn't mean to do that. Have you ever seen Get Hard?
Family Guy.
Have you seen the movie Get Hard?
Oh yeah.
What you know? What? Who's the? Speaking of cameos, who's the musician? John Mayer. Remember what John Mayer says to Will Ferrell when he brings him up on stage?
Do not.
No, but you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Oh,
That movie was very forgettable to me, but I did watch it.
he said, "You ever seen a?" I'll text it to you. But
Okay,
if you're watching,
deal.
that's what I was going to say. Anyway, if you want to make really good pulled pork, when you're done, take the fat cap after you smoked it. Take the fat cap, put it in a pot on the stove with some butter, and boil it down real hot, and like try to make a liquid out of the fat and with some butter, and melt it down. And when you've got your pulled pork, put a little more rub on there, pull it apart, You got nice pulled pork in a tray. Take that melted fat with the butter and pour it back over. It is so much better than if you pull the pork, you're going to eat it anyway. So if you pull the pork apart and you pull the fat, every third bite has a nice piece of fat in the pulled pork. If you melt down the fat in the butter in a pot on the stove and then pour it back over the pulled pork after you've already pulled it, championship pulled pork.
Buddy, I love that idea. I felt awful for even closely endorsing just eating that fat like by itself.
It's the best part.
I agree. I'm into it. That's my final meal. If I'm on death row, I'm eating just a plate full of pig fat. But you're throwing another layer of fat on there, and they're just going to
not another layer. You take the fat cap out of the pork. So instead of pulling the fat cap, you just take it and you melt it down. It's the same amount of fat. It's just a matter of
adding butter.
Oh, that's true. I mean, a little bit. Oh.
I mean, I love the ante being upped. Don't get me wrong. That's phenomenal. But that's a new level, and I'm here for it, and I will do that.
That's my final thought of the night. It is.
I like it.
Delish. My wife got me a attachment for my drill. It's a 3-pronged weapon, is what it is. You attach it to a drill. Take my pork butt after I smoke it. Like, really, I only do this if I've got like 3 that I got to pull apart. Take the pulled pork, drop it in a bucket, take that drill, and it just shreds the pork. It is just
nice.
It is incredible. It is outstanding. Shout out to Kale Imshaw for the Seams hat, by the way. Seamsapparel.com. Shop seamsapparel.com. Go support Kale. He's
Congrats
mashing
on a great week this week.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Okay. Have you seen Mark Gubazar calling games for the Angels lately? Is that the guy? Are you like, does he look like the guy that you met in Grain Valley?
I know what Gooby looks like.
Is it? Do you think it was him?
It was too far off to even remember. So I can't confirm or deny that was Gooby, but I'm just gonna. I would not be here today had I rode in that car with Mark Gubazar. Mark Gubazar, but he's a super nice guy. So good for Mark Gubazar. If that was you, live your life. If that wasn't you, Mark, live your life.
I really like to think that it was.
I hope it was. It's probably a guardian angel.
Clarence.
Clarence, guardian angel, Gubazar.
No, yes. Clarence from
I know.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I didn't watch that until this last Christmas season, by the way.
Great
Never seen
movie.
It prior to that.
It's great movie.
It's good. Holds
up
well.
The fact that it's 70 years old, 80 years old, and holds up, outstanding.
It's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. I'm stalling because I really feel like there was something I wanted to add to this conversation. I cannot remember what it was.
I think it was you that got me onto that because we were doing the Christmas episode of the old podcast, and I think you're the one that got me sold on it.
Yes. Speaking of, next week we should do a dumbass game revolved around Christmas in May for some reason.
It is halfway to Christmas.
Trades. We'll do it for the trade episode. It'll be Christmas in July. How can the Royals flip Andrew Benintendi for Mike Trout?
Tune in next week and find out.
Okay. All right. Josh, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Love you, Joel.
Noah, Joel, KCSE, Tickets for Less, KCSN, Drum Farm, Shop Seams Apparel. Have a great night.
Bingo.